Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 annual Neuroendocrine Cancer Patient Education Conference. We're very excited to be back here at Cedars-Sinai, and I want to thank them for hosting us this year. Let's give them a hand. My name is Giovanna Imbesi, and I'm the Executive Director and Founder of LACNETS. And many people have commented as we came in this morning on how much we've grown every year. And that's really all through you and reaching more and more patients, which has always been our goal, to connect. And I think a lot of us went through some miracles just to get here in the room this morning. And I know, as a patient as well, that sometimes it really takes a lot to get out, so I appreciate that you're all here. And I want to thank all the people on the live stream as well. We have many people from around the world joining us, so welcome. We're going to have a very exciting day. One of the things I wanted to encourage you to do today is, as you know, there's a lot of medical information to learn as a NET patient, and I was diagnosed in 2005, so there's been changes and new developments and treatments and approvals. It's a lot to take in. You might feel like you're going to medical school, and I know that we have over 100 new people here this year who are at a conference for the first time. So I encourage you to listen in two ways. One is listen for all the medical information, but don't get overwhelmed, because everything's being videotaped. You can go back and review these at your own leisure and rewind and soak it in and learn, because there is a learning curve. And the other way to listen is really as just a patient, as a human being, and your family, and who you are as a person, and what means the most to you and your quality of life. Because a lot of these decisions are going to be based on quality of life and how you feel. And ultimately, that's the most important decision and thought that you can make, because we have many medical interventions, and as they say with NET patients, you may have all of them over a period of time, because we do tend to have a longer extended life. But also consider both sides. So it's a balance between your quality of life, your family, your work, what's important to you, and then learning as much as you can about the medical. So I hope that helps you today, and we have a really amazing program. I want to introduce first, we're very excited to have somebody very special here at Cedars-Sinai. Dr. Shlomo Melmed is here today, and he's going to give some opening remarks. He's the Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs at Cedars and the Dean of the Medical Faculty and Professor of Medicine. I know he's also an endocrinologist, which is a very important part of our multidisciplinary team. So please welcome Dr. Shlomo Melmed.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, and welcome to all of you to Cedars-Sinai. I'm not an oncologist, I'm an endocrinologist, but I have a very, very warm, special affinity in my heart for neuroendocrine disorders because I deal with the pituitary, and I'm very proud to tell you, for those of you who don't know, that the genesis of the preclinical work for all the somatostatin analogs, which are so wonderful for you, took place here at Cedars-Sinai, and the global registration trial for the initial registration of a somatostatin analog took place here at Cedars-Sinai long before many of you were born in 1990. And so this is a very special group of patients for me personally. But I want to spend the next 3 or 4 minutes welcoming you to Cedars-Sinai and giving you an overview of who we are as your hosts today. And I'm not going to focus on oncology and neuroendocrine tumors because that's the rest of the day. So let me talk a little bit about Cedars-Sinai in the non-oncology vein. So for those of you who live in Los Angeles, you've seen many signs around the city. Cedars-Sinai actually has expanded dramatically in the past year. We now have 4 hospitals. There's Cedars-Sinai, Torrance Memorial Hospital is now part of our system. Marina Hospital, we are building Cedars-Sinai of the West, a brand new hospital on Marina del Rey. And we are also building a brand new Cedars-Sinai hospital in Tarzana. And right in between all these 4 hospitals are multiple specialty groups and primary care groups. But most importantly for you to understand is that we have lots and lots of cancer centers all under this integrated Cedars-Sinai system rubric. So there's a cancer center in Torrance, there are cancer centers in Wilshire Boulevard, a cancer center in Santa Monica, and a brand new Cedars-Sinai Cancer Center in Ventura, all in addition to what we have here in terms of how we serve our patients, especially with neuroendocrine tumors. And wherever you enter the Cedars-Sinai portal, you will enjoy the benefits of this wonderful institution. We're the largest Medicare provider in the state of California. We're the most preferred hospital by all external metrics. We're an international referral center. We're a leading California treatment center for very advanced illnesses, what we call quaternary services, multiple organ transplants, complex neurosurgery, complex heart surgery. We're a community hospital at the same time, a primary community hospital for coughs and colds and hernia treatments for over 3 million people in our immediate catchment area. And we're the largest private Medi-Cal provider in the state of California. We treat more Medi-Cal underserved patients than any other institution in the state, and we're proud of it. A year at Cedars-Sinai is a remarkable picture. This year we've admitted over 50,000 patients. We have over 100,000 emergency units per year. But I really want to emphasize for you are the fact that we perform 33,000 surgeries a year and are proud to deliver 7,000 new babies. And as we're sitting here upstairs, there are between now and the end of your meeting, 10 or 15 new babies will be born. At the same time, we are a very large transplant center with 473 transplants last year. We are, and this is no exaggeration, the largest heart transplant center in the world. Right now, on a Saturday morning at Cedars-Sinai, there are 2 or 3 patients upstairs who were admitted horizontal, who are going to walk out vertical on Monday morning. Every weekend, 2 or 3 individuals who are desperately ill get brand new hearts and walk out of here healthy. And we are delighted that we're able to provide that quaternary service, that very complex service, at the same time that we're a community hospital for everybody. In terms of heart disease, which has been the mainstay of the Cedars-Sinai culture for over 100 years, we're now switching a lot of our patients in the largest program in the world away from heart surgery. So if you have a valve problem today, either for your mitral valve or your aortic valve, the likelihood is that a cardiologist, a non-surgeon, will be able to replace your valve healthily and not resort to surgery and not resort to opening up your chest and performing open heart surgery, which has been a remarkable advance, especially in the last 18 months. But this is the slide that I am most proud of for Cedars-Sinai. This is the slide from Medicare. And what Medicare does over here, you can see these blue bars are mortality rates for patients within 30 days of an acute myocardial infarction, of an acute heart attack. And so each bar over here is a different group of hospitals. Cedars-Sinai itself has the lowest, by far on the extreme left. We are the #1 hospital in the country where the chances are that you will not die within 30 days of a heart attack. And you can see over here the average mortality rate is about 12%. We are at 8%, putting us literally in that red dot on the extreme left outlier of the nation. And I could show you slides here if we had time, and I don't want to take more of your time, for all of the diseases that we treat, with very few exceptions, that our quality outcomes, our mortality outcomes are the best in the nation. We are listed as number 8 in the country in terms of the ranking of hospitals, and our ranking specialties are listed over here. We are in the honor roll of the national rankings, ranging from cardiology, cancer, diabetes, neurology, and the listed specialties over here. And hopefully, if we are honored to honor you here next year again, we will have expanded the specialty honor roll. But a slide that I'm also very proud of is what we do for the community, because we provide to the community almost $700 million of community service. This is in terms of unreimbursed cost of care for Medicare patients, unreimbursed costs of care for poor and underserved patients, research contributions, community benefits, which we go out into the community to help underserved communities. And this is a terrific number, $700 million, almost $1 billion a year that we spend on supporting our community in furtherance of our charity mission. Some of our translational research discoveries are listed on the slide, and I haven't included all the cancer highlights. You'll hear about those later on. Most importantly, in terms of cardiology, the Swan-Ganz catheter, which many of our family's members have used because they have been subjected to heart attacks or heart failure in hospital, being such a common disorder, was actually invented here at Cedars-Sinai. Dr. Swan and Dr. Ganz were members of our faculty. Minimally invasive surgical oncology techniques, cancer drug discoveries, which has been expanded dramatically, especially over the last 6 months, literally here at Cedars-Sinai. A large program in stem cell treatments for heart failure and for Parkinson's disease and for ALS. And most importantly, a new area which is going to have a dramatic impact on the treatment of patients with neuroendocrine tumors is we have a whole services research division now devoted to clinical decision support. How do we actually undertake the logistics of delivering care to you? How best for a cancer patient to receive their treatment? Should it be outpatient? Should it be inpatient? Do you need an MRI once a week, once a month, once a year, or never again? These non-scientific questions, which we call clinical decision support, are undergoing a dramatic change in terms of how we research them and understand them and bring you more efficient, more quality, and better outcomes for your disorder as an individual. And so you're going to be hearing a lot more, I believe, certainly throughout the country over the next years on how we use clinical decision support to apply all these wonderful new discoveries to treating and curing disease. Let me just give you one example of what we're doing in research in the non-cancer area, but as also can be applied to cancer. And that is using stem cells in a very novel Cedars-Sinai-based technology where we actually grow organs on a computer chip, computer-sized chip. We actually are able to take your cells from a patient with any disease. This patient has his blood drawn. It's an individual who's a male. You can see we grow his stem cells from his blood. We convert these blood stem cells into a gut, the patient's own gut. We place it on this computer-sized chip, and we're able to, in the red, have arterial blood, and in the blue, equivalent to venous blood, bathe this organ. And this organ is, in fact, an equivalent to a gut moving. You can see the gut moving over here. This is the real gut recapitulating the disease which this patient has in his gastrointestinal system. And if you click on this one over here, the 3D image, you can see that the actual interior of the gastrointestinal system is completely replicated. And now, using this computer-sized chip, we can actually take this patient's blood cell and test a whole host of drugs on the chip to see which drug is going to help this patient's gastrointestinal disorder. This is now also being applied to oncology, and the first tumors which we're actually using this successfully have actually been for ovarian cancers, where we're actually growing through the patient's blood cells, not their cancer cells, their stem cell-derived ovarian cancer, and being able to test drugs on the chip before subjecting a patient to an experimental drug treatment which may or may not work. Another example of what we're doing here, which will directly impact all of us in this room, is the opportunity now which our researchers are offering us to be able to draw blood at home for a liquid biopsy. You will not require a biopsy of your tissue or of your tumor. You can take a drop of blood, subject this blood to a distant analysis, which is sent to our mass spectrometry labs over here at Cedars. We'll be able to make a diagnosis and offer you a biomarker for your tumor from a liquid biopsy. And we have built an entire building down on San Vicente Boulevard, which will be occupied in October, in which we're able to take all of our patients and offer them this service right now as a research opportunity, but hopefully as it gets FDA approved for a clinical opportunity, where we're able to offer them this service of offering them a discovery of new biomarkers for their disorders from a blood biopsy, what we call a liquid biopsy, making sure it works, and then going back to the patient and using it in your healthcare. And this precision biomarker lab initiative is going to be taking off, and we believe that it's going to offer a wonderful opportunity for patients to, number one, reduce your anxiety. You won't need a biopsy. You will not have to worry about having another MRI. A simple blood test directed maybe through your cell phone directly to the lab, and we're able to give you an answer to provide you with a reassuring response. Your drug is working, you are on a good path, your drug is not working, we have to switch you to another therapy. So those are some of the examples of what Cedars-Sinai is doing. I welcome you here, and I applaud the enthusiasm of your patients, your administrators, your oncologists, your pathologists, your surgeons, your radiotherapists, everybody who's involved in treating you, and hopefully your group will grow because you will all be, like your organizer, a long-term survivor, and wishing you all a happy and productive day, and welcome to Cedars-Sinai.